When I finally at 2 a.m. wind down, and then at 2:30, Rio screaming for a bottle, oh, you gotta get up and do River's bum, go to the toilet, like all this stuff, like, no, it's not enjoyable.
Today I feel like having enjoyment. You lot good? Yeah, fed? Cool, I'm out. I can't do that.
I'm being honest. I love my children, but you know what it means, yeah? To shell out £70 a day for a child's nursery. When I bloody want to shop and buy all the designers, what are you on about?
Welcome to Bridge the Gap, a show where we aim to build a bridge of understanding between opposing views. Each episode, you'll see our participants sit down to discuss some thought-provoking statements. If they disagree with the statement, they'll leave their seat and allow those that agree to explain themselves.
I can't lie, I'm here with you, bro. I love all this.
Those that disagree then return and express themselves to the rest of the group.
Come on, sit down, guys, man. Guys, man, come on, man. Like, what we got?
You need to explain this to these girls.
The captions in Instagram and, you know, I'm not a mum, I'm a cool mum. That's all very cute, but when you go home after school run and the homework, the cooking and all of that, I know we've talked about that so much, but I'm just saying, like, the enjoyment part of it, it does
get sucked out.
It does get sucked out,
game's the
especially
game,
when...
man.
No, it's not a game, though.
No, but you know what?
Hopefully building a bridge of understanding. Let's see what happens.
I enjoy being a parent.
I don't know how to feel about this.
I'm 50-50 about that, so
Yeah.
I'll just stay. Serious.
You enjoy being a parent?
Yeah.
I'm Ricardo. I'm a co-founder of a charity.
Okay, are you there 24/7 with them?
No, but this
Okay, that's it.
Yeah,
Let's talk another time when
within the time and the space that I have with my children, I love it.
50-50, you gotta stay.
I'm here with you, my guy. I can't lie, I'm here with you, bro. I love all this. I can't lie, I'm here for it, man.
I can't believe everyone left.
Yeah, I'm proper shocked. I'm proper shocked, to be honest with you. It's weird because, again, like I said, as much as there's going to be hard times and times they're difficult, and when they're small, it's hard, and the crying and the whinging and the hurt and the roller coasters of parenting with a woman that you may not be with again, so to speak. I think that's when it becomes hard. Hi, my name is Mr. Dirty, and I'm an artist and film director.
One of the most enjoyable moments or the highlights of every week or weekend that I have with my children is when I go to bed with my children at night.
Yeah.
And I'm with my kids. It's like the
There's
best
nothing,
feeling.
there's nothing like it, blood. There's nothing like it. Yeah, I think why people might be disagreeing, maybe because they have their children 24/7.
Yeah.
And the fact that, I don't know, sometimes it can weigh heavy, especially if you've got two children and you're trying to do the work, be the partner, be the parent, or whichever else it is, it can somewhat seem daunting. But I get that side of it as well, though, the daunting side of it, where they feel like, oh, it's frustrating, or my man's decided he's putting Sudocrem in his hair, and all of these kind of things. I get it. But if we're talking about generally and overall here, forget the moments of frustration or the moments of anger. Generally, overall, do I enjoy being a parent? 100, wouldn't change it for the world.
Yeah, come on, sit down, guys, man. Guys, man, come on, man. Like, what we got?
You need to explain this to these girls.
You guys tried to change the question. They didn't ask, do you love your children?
Let me interrupt. What you both have just said is, are you proud being parents? You both are proud being parents. That's a different.
I enjoy being
Enjoy was the word.
But what you guys have just analyzed is how proud you are being a dad.
My name is Oladimeji. I work in marketing technology.
I enjoy being a parent.
No, you go for it now, but I'm just saying that.
Yes.
I'm just dropping that there. You guys have just said.
Listen, like, when Rio, my son's 1.5, yeah? He's decided he's a newborn again. He's up every 2 hours, and he used to just take a dummy, go back to sleep. Now he's screaming for a bottle like he's a newborn. I'm Charlotte Tahira. I'm a presenter, podcaster, and executive producer of audio content. My daughter's 4. She's potty trained, like toilet trained, but I still have to wake up in the night to go to the toilet and then put her back to bed. When I work on average 45 to 50 hours a week. Like I have a very busy week schedule. When I finally at 2 a.m. wind down, and then at 2:30, Rio screaming for a bottle, oh, you gotta get up and do River's bum, go to the toilet, like all this stuff, like, No, it's not enjoyable. Yesterday I went to a
think about the
sit-down
word
formal event and the boy's grabbing things, throwing things. I'm that mum who has to keep walking out of the event because he's screaming and he's making a scene. And
Is that the moment though, or is
Okay.
that overall though?
All right.
But let me just say, considering I'm with them majority of the time, those aren't moments. The moments are the, oh, let's do this puzzle together. Oh, you ate with your dinner. The majority of the time, and maybe it's because I've got 2 under 5, so I know age plays a
I was
big
gonna say
difference in
that.
that.
Yeah.
The majority of the time is, let's survive this day because, oh my gosh, these kids are doing the most and I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
Do I enjoy being a parent? Yes, I'm in the moments, in the good moments, but generally at the age that they're at, I'm counting down till my son turns 2.
I was 50-50 at first, and then I was like, actually, no, I don't enjoy it entirely because there is a lot of sacrifice there.
Yeah.
And I know that, yes, I got pregnant, I know, but we sacrifice so much that it gets to the point that, am I actually having a good time? Am I enjoying this? And I know parenthood isn't supposed to be completely enjoyable, but when you guys were like, yeah, of course I enjoy it, and it's like, but really though, and I feel like, one second, I feel like I would be doing an injustice to people that are not parents yet to make them think that this is like
Some
walk in the
bubblegum,
park.
no, it's
fairy.
really not. One sec. Let me land just one sec. The captions in Instagram and, you know, I'm not a mum, I'm a cool mum. That's all very cute. But when you go home after school run and the homework, the cooking and all of that, I know we've talked about that so much, but I'm just saying, like, the enjoyment part of it, it does
Get sucked out.
it does get sucked out,
game's a
especially
game,
when
man.
no, it's not a game though.
No, the
No,
game's
but
a game,
so-
man.
you know what?
My name is Tatiana. I am a part-time nanny and part-time beauty therapist, full-time mum.
I'm actually not being
Because I
disrespectful here in any
Yeah.
way. Sorry, you know, you just finish your
I
statement.
can't just decide that, oh, today I feel like having enjoyment. You lot good? Yeah, fed? Cool, I'm out. I can't do
Yeah.
that.
And I'm not being disrespectful to you guys
Yeah,
here.
not at all.
Unfortunately, your
No way.
experiences are very different from mine.
Yeah.
You guys have had kids with moms that the kids have primarily lived with their moms. It's a total different scenario when you live with your children.
Yeah, I've got. So I've got
Oh no, hold on. Let me explain to you. I'm proud being a dad. You know, I'm like, if I'm asked anywhere, that's one of the greatest achievements in my
So
life.
what do you not enjoy about being a?
It's the fact that you don't own your life.
Yes.
It's the fact that there's not
I said
there's not
yesterday,
there's
my
not
son owns
there
me.
literally is not
He owns
downtime.
Question: how old is your child?
My first son is going to be 5, and my second son is 11 months.
I think this is the point because of the ages of your children.
When your
This is
child,
amazing.
hold on, when your child was 5, were you living with him?
Yes.
And you were doing the nappy
And you was
changes.
enjoying life.
Bro, I was there from the beginning to now. I'm still in my son's life. So I understand with regards to moving out of it, moving out later.
So
So
what-
0 to 5, I was there every day.
And you
know the
enjoyed
tr-
it.
but
Do you remember?
And you enjoyed it every morning. You were like, oh yeah.
Parents with
No, you're not
teenagers
being
don't
honest.
remember.
No, you're not being
but
honest.
This is the
you're
process,
forgetting what I'm
though,
saying.
isn't
You're forgetting what I'm saying. I said to you, yes,
Of
there's
course
not
it's the
always
process,
day.
we
It's
know
not
that.
every day. It's happy,
look at
happy,
it like
joy.
Yeah, but that's why I said that's the question. Overall, I do. Then that is your 50-50. Because what I'm saying to you is this: I do not enjoy being a parent, but to say, I love being a dad. No, I don't. That day is I'm being honest here.
That's
because
cool.
Why mean is this? No, let's be honest with you. You generally do not own your life. I'm being honest. I love my children,
Yeah.
but you know what it means, yeah? To shell out £70 a day for a child's nursery. When I bloody want to shop and buy all the designers, what are you on about?
Hold on, brother. Wait, hold on. Did my son skip nursery? I had to do it too. But I was
But did you
there.
enjoy that?
But you enjoy shelling the money out.
Listen, all right, cool. You're talking about the money.
Everyone's taking it personal, man.
I'm
I get it
talking
now.
now.
No, I get it. But again, like I said,
It's
be
all a
all
part of it. It's all a
there's
part
10
of it.
things, or let's say, for example, there's 10 elements to being a parent. If I'm looking at all of them, yes, the finances, but I'd rather bought the trainers for myself that week, to be honest with you.
Sacrifice,
But,
yeah.
again, we have to sacrifice. And again, when I weigh it
But
all
who
up,
enjoys sacrifice?
I am sacrificing.
Who
I will
enjoys
continue
to be honest with you,
sacrificing.
to an extent I do.
continue to
To an extent, I enjoy my sacrifices because sometimes when I sacrifice this time here and I see that my son's got rare off the back of it, and I see the happiness and joy that he gets off of the back of it, I feel like
But
I
you
would do
didn't
that 2-3
enjoy the
times.
sacrifice, you enjoyed what the sacrifice provided.
That's
You know,
different. That's different.
I think also maybe something we need to also establish is the fact that all our children are different.
It is harder to be a mother than a father.
I'll take.
Where you not going?
I feel like a lot of women don't know what they're signing up for going into being a parent because it's not explained enough. And I feel like maybe that's because of past generations. Like, we're not told that it's going to be like this. It's a lot of mental strain, physical strain, emotional strain, and it's just harder. I feel like there's just so much that mums have to endure.
And for me, it's like, it's a journey, innit? So parenting is a journey. But in this particular instance, I've assumed the role as being a provider for my children. Do you get what I'm saying? Me undertaking that role I've realised that the time that I'm not being able to afford to actually being present within my children's life.
There's going to be, you're
mad.
going to be slacking on something, and that's where the mum kind of comes in. And
I wouldn't want to use the term slacking here, but...
Not by choice.
No, but yeah.
But let's be real.
Definitely.
If you're working 9 to 5, for example,
there's times when
where are your children?
And there's just having this conversation with my partner yesterday, and maybe the day before, and it was just like, I'm missing out on very pivotal and key moments owing to their
upbringing.
Their
life.
It's half term, the kids are on 6 weeks holidays, my partner's booking all of these types of activities, they're going to the farm, they're doing this, and she was like, in years to come, these kids are going to look back and think, oh shit, where was where was my dad?
Yeah, and I don't take away what dads bring to the table. I just think it's more difficult to be the mum.
I'm going to give the women that one. Like, it's what it is, isn't it? Like, I'm with that one.
I haven't gotten up yet.
I bet you lot were shocked I left.
I was.
I
thought you said
maternal instinct's real. Like, so what you were saying about we will adjust, we will figure it out. But is it harder to be a mother than a father? I don't think so, because there's things he's had to learn as a father that, to me, especially because we had a girl first. So doing her hair, like washing her vagina, like there's things he had to learn and be like, this is really challenging for me because as far as I'm concerned, that's a sexual thing and now this is my daughter, so it's not a sexual thing and I have to teach her how to wash it. So the like kind of mental challenges.
But that you learn once and that's it though. What about for life?
I feel like if you're a present hands-on dad, it's equally as hard to do that as a present hands-on mum, because what you give up, what you sacrifice, what you contribute to your child's life, if you're a proper father, like what we was discussing as like a full-time father, then it's just as hard. It's just as hard.
I don't agree because, sorry,
100%.
sorry, I'm so sorry. It's just I'm so passionate about it. I feel like we are not born taught, so we both have to learn. But is it
harder for us to learn than for them to learn?
Again,
is it equally as hard?
It's more natural because we've got the maternal instincts already from pregnancy, fair, but we also don't know. And I know women that haven't got a clue still how to do certain things. They're confused, but we learn. And the dad will learn once. They don't need to be babied into it. You learn once and let's keep it pushing.
And I think, obviously, I'm very 50-50. I would never take away from the woman's role. The woman does a lot. But I think you've made so much emphasis on the physical, the things you can see. A lot of things happen here for a man.
Yes.
A whole lot of the things that the men are going through, or the man is going through, is happening here. Plus, also remember that all these things you're talking about is still the same society and you women. You know, so when the man is a bit too in touch, he can make the hair, he can make the pancake, then the woman's like, oh, it's a little too effeminate, maybe, are you sure? So I'll be honest with you, it's also the demands and the expectations you've put upon this man. So actually, the man can actually weave, he can actually braid, he can full on do braids, but we choose not to do it because it's going to just emasculate me. So why would I do it?
I can't do braids still.
No, I'm saying to you, like, some men can. You understand what I'm trying to say? So I feel like, yes, we understand there's so much more. The maternal instinct, you just jump into it. But I think there's something a lot of people, no one talks about. They're actually bad moms. They're actually, you're speaking because you're a good mom and you're doing the right thing. There are actually very many homes that it is the man that is holding it down.
The guy that's actually there and active and doing what he's supposed to be doing, he's dealing with both. So how are we now measuring and saying that, all right, the strain that he's dealing with mentally isn't as much as the fact that she has to get up all the time and do cooking for the...
No, I get you.
Do you see what I'm saying?
No, totally. I agree with that. But then going back to the point that 90% of the time, the woman generally tends to be the primary carer. So it's like when you get up and go to work or you go and do your thing or whatever you're going to be doing,
There's also mental.
kids are still gonna.
But what I learned over the years is because my big son is quite big. He's yeah, my son will be 15 this year.
Oh,
so yeah, my boys. Yeah. So for me, what I found was the balance, the time and the finance. That was for me when I was younger. All I could think about from when she was pregnant, all I was thinking about was the finance.
Yeah.
I need to make sure that my son doesn't look like. Brother, my worst nightmare was being that person. You know, like back in the day, you had the bendy buses, and you see that couple get on with the buggy.
Oh,
he's
yeah,
got the Adidas tracksuit bottoms. And
Yeah,
the
yeah, I
plastic,
know
you know
the
that?
ones.
And they're going job centre. That couldn't have happened to me. No disrespect to the people that do have to get through how they go. But for me, as a young person, I didn't want
wanted
that
better for
So for
yourself.
me,
Better.
it was all about the finance. When I realised that I was chasing peas and missing out on little things, it burnt me too much to the point where, brother, I'll never forget, I went to see my son one day at some family gathering she was having. And my son cried from the minute he saw, not because he was happy, because he didn't know how to, the bond wasn't there like that. Because I spent so much time making sure that I was financially capable to make sure the nappies, wiped,
when
clothes,
there was
this, that,
quality
or whatever
time,
else
you
it
was-
is.
yeah.
It's all about time, innit?
Quality time.
all
So
about
I had
time.
to start sacrificing some of the finance in order to make sure me and my son now, we're good. You know what I mean? I can't complain about anything there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
You found the balance.
this is it. Again, in regards to importance, like for me, like I said, being in his life mentally and physically is that's my biggest stress in life.
Mother's Day versus Father's Day. One of them is more important than the other. Do you agree, concede, disagree, or decide?
Oh.
I feel like you should go first as the man who stayed.
For me, I'm just like, people are just going through the motions and doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
So when you do have these things like Father's Day or Mother's Day, it does kind of, it's a bit of a mad situation, in my personal opinion. But as you said, like, because you're the bearer of a child, I don't really feel that that's just enough for you to say that because I was the parent.
Wait, hold on. Did you say just enough?
No, not
Yeah.
I missed that, you know. I actually
no,
missed
Because, like, and this is what I'll say, like, at the end of the day, you give us your sperm, yeah? After you've given us your sperm, we could carry on with that pregnancy and that child without you, and the child would still be able to grow, come into the world, and be nourished, like provided for through like the fact that we lactate, yeah? So I was having a debate with someone yesterday, and they said it's the baker who puts the oven in the bread, not the oven that makes the bread. But if the oven's not working, there's no bread, no matter what the baker does.
In most instances, and I have these conversations all the time, I have 2 children with 2 different women, yeah? And with my first child, the mum is obviously the primary carer for my child. Irrespective of her just being the primary carer, the roles and responsibilities that I have to undertake as well, I don't think that these things should be deemed as being less important because I'm not there as much. Do you get what I'm saying?
Do you not believe the primary caregiver of the child should be celebrated more than the parent who kind of has their single life and comes in and out?
And this comes to the point,
when
because
it suits their schedule?
we could probably be here all day weighing up the pros and cons of what the individual's input is into this individual's life. But being a primary carer is a role that you undertake in a lot of instances because the woman is the bearer of the child. So
This is why I feel like Mother's Day should be celebrated the most, because we do the most and it doesn't get acknowledged because it's
As much.
expected.
Yeah.
It's just expected for us to do this.
And this is
And there's a lot of unstable, unfit mothers who, like, they get to that point and it's because of the pressure of society, they don't know how to, oh, okay, let me take support from their dad because I'm not actually capable right now. But they just put it all on themselves, burden themselves, get run down, and then it impacts their child because society tells them, no, you're the mum. Where do you think you're going?
but then-
That's going to party. You better get up with the child
no,
overnight.
but then some parents or some dads may have their children just on the weekend. And how do we establish who's doing the most? The kids are going to be at school from probably Monday to Friday.
Yeah.
And then I'm not trying to disregard the amount of work that's being done within the home.
It's not just the home.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting up every single day, making sure those kids are clean, fed,
On time, have what they
tidy, on
need.
time, mentally okay, getting enough sleep. All of that stuff is a lot. And I feel like I don't think we get enough praise. Not every woman needs praise. That's fair. But I was in a relationship where I didn't get praise, and it was Mother's Day, and my guy is sleeping. And I'm thinking, Okay.
What's ended up happening in a lot of these situations is that it's becoming a competition.
Dad, Father's Day is important, but
It's so important.
Mother's Day.
You know, I want to praise them too. But
Women should be celebrated, men should be celebrated. Now, again, like my mum was saying earlier about measuring the importance of one's role or whatever else it is, or how much a man could potentially do from outside, is something that I looked into a little while back in regards to this single parent household thing or whatever else it is. And there's 400,000, apparently in the UK, 400,000 single fathers in the UK that are taking care of their children. It's not often you hear about fathers that are dealing with these things or that are primary carers or whatever else it is. They're super celebrated when you do hear about them.
it's almost shocking.
But it's almost like this anomaly or whatever else it is. Again, should they be celebrated and patted on the back? And there's men that are living in their children's houses and doing the jobs that they're supposed to be doing every single day. When Father's Day comes, you don't see nothing about Father's Day like that. There's a one billboard in your ends, and that's about it.
Wouldn't you argue those men are really acting as the role of mothers, though?
No.
And so it could be celebrated on Mother's and Father's Day?
A man can't act the role as a mother, and a mother cannot be a father. It's impossible to do both.
But I think if a man is present in a child's life or in the children's life and is doing his duty, i.e. not just dropping money, like I live with my children, I bathe them, I drop them at nursery, I do everything. So I deserve my own flowers as well, or my own trophy, you know, whichever way you want to give. I do agree that obviously, bear in mind, you have to also understand that a lot of these things have been commercialized. So these brands are feeding off fats because it's Mother's Day or Father's Day. They just want to sell their fragrances and the flowers and chocolates you get. So I think that also has a way of eroding the way we think to say, oh, one is greater than the other. Obviously, men will typically buy more gifts for women than vice versa. And even aside Father's or Mother's Day, the number of men that will take women out on a date and buy this is much more than, you know, the other way around. A lot of men think provision is the same thing as being in the child's life. You could throw out all the pounds, but actually that doesn't make up for someone who wakes up in the morning and takes that child to school, gets the child. So it's and that's one thing. I'm married and I have kids. It's totally different. Money is important. It's very, very important. But that's emotional and even just the physical support of the days when one person is actually tired and the other person is just, you know what, I'll actually just microwave this pasta from Lidl or from Tesco for this child to eat, and I'll, you know, give them a wipe down. Literally, it's not even a bath, even just a wipe down, just like warm towel top to bottom and go to bed. It's much more valuable than, you know, the £1,000 or £2,000 you've paid into the woman's account. So I think that's one notion that needs to actually be eradicated. Like, you're paying the money, yes, thumbs up, but actually that money is not what that child needs. You know, when the child is being trounced or being bullied at school, that money is actually not going to do anything to the child. 100%. So yeah, that's it.
Two-parent households are more beneficial for a child.
I would say time is one of the most undervalued currencies. That's what it is.
True.
Time is one of the most undervalued currencies. You know what I mean?
When you do have friends that have come from a household that both parents are present. Even if I'm being honest, when I've had relationships with people in terms of my male friends as well and whatever, I think it's dope. Like, shit, your mum and your dad present. Like, sick. You know what I'm saying? Because I wasn't exposed to that.
Yeah.
So then kind of, man, understanding how that's benefited you. You got, dad might take you football or something.
Just got sports days,
Even down to, like, if I'm working in the office in East London and I've got to get back to West London, it's me who has to get back to make sure the kids are picked up. There's no one who's going to take over that evening and, like...
She's taking this personally.
No, but she can only speak from her experience, really.
Stop coming for me, bro.
Yeah, so I think, obviously, it just... You know, speaking from, like, women that I've interacted with, oftentimes you find out that lack of, you know, the male figure in the home is transferred into their own relationships because they seem to. I wouldn't generalize, but oftentimes there's that void that they kind of transfer that burden onto their men. And even for men as well, who probably, you know, maybe their dad left and they were like 16, they had to kind of fend and become the man of the house. You find out that such men also probably just go on feeling like I can do and undo, literally like the world is mine. I'm beneath no one. So I feel it does a lot kind of to help raise well-rounded kids. If you can maintain a home with 2 kids, please do it. You know, obviously that's not at your own detriment. If it happens, it happens. Make the best of it. Let's do this.
I was very 50-50. Am I allowed to get deep?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
get deep.
I grew up in a household, both parents, never saw anything else, mum, dad, always present. And I was told that this is how it's supposed to be, you know? Mum, dad, married, brothers, whatever, happy household. I didn't know anything else. I then led by example, which I agreed with a lot of points that you guys made. That example is gold. That kid can take that for life. I took it. I got married, same order. Got married, had my 2 kids. What became a toxic marriage was becoming a toxic relationship with me and my children.
Wow.
So I then started to question myself, am I doing a good job? No, but every box is ticked. I'm doing everything right. I'm doing everything as I know how to or I was taught. Where are the issues coming from? The marriage. So going back to the fact that, would I rather have 2 kids in a happy home or what they seem to think is happy? Because as parents, we have this responsibility of keeping them happy or making them believe that everything is okay. Yeah. I couldn't shield them for much longer. There were cracks. So am I going to stay in this marriage just so that they can have this ideal that I had?
I was going to say, that's what you... My mum was married to my dad 25 years before she divorced him, and she can remember from before we were born that she wasn't happy in the marriage.
Is it fair for me to put them through the same lies?
Yeah.
No, it's not. Because then they're going to come and knock on my door one day and say, Mum, why didn't you tell me that this can actually become really toxic and unhappy? Yes, we do everything for our kids, of course, but I don't believe that the parents have to stay together in order for the upbringing of the child to be perfect or ideal. No, it's lies, because my kids came to me and said, Mum, you seem so much happier now. Why? Because I took the plunge.
Oh, shit.
That was a good one.
That was one of the best ones.
That was the best one.
Yeah, man.